look about the current forensic tools, both based on hardware and software. So I'm just gonna give you a brief explanation about all those tools that we are using in current trend, and also the hardware tools as well that has been used for carrying out the forensic investigations. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, first of all, we are going to talk about the hardware forensic tools that has been using during the forensic investigation, whether it on multiple scenarios, whether it can be a crime scene or a forensic laboratory in order to analyze the evidence and all those things that is acquired from the crime scene or any other incidents that is related to that. So yeah, so first thing, like we can go with the hardware because it's a bit easy because the software side is much bigger to see. So I'll start with the hardware forensic tools, and yeah. So the first thing that we are going to see
Sakthi,
is
can you make it a slideshow?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the hardware tools and the methodologies. So in what kind of scenario that we're gonna use those hardware tools. So first of all, the tools that has been used for the analyzing the evidence are listed out here. So first thing is the evidence pack. So for example, there are set of rules and set of protocols that will be followed during an acquisition of the evidence in the crime scene. And also, like, there are some protocols that is followed all over the world based on the country. So it will be varying according to the department and also the law and the system that will be followed among various countries. So some of the common things that are used during acquisition of evidence is the evidence pack. So in order to acquire and keep the evidence, to store them and to secure them and from the crime scene for to analyze them later in the cyber laboratory, like forensic laboratory. So we need this evidence back to secure and also catalog the evidence. For example, like what kind of evidence that has been acquired, the list of items will be used. So there will be a dedicated a form, a evidence form that will be followed in general in order to take the list of evidences that has been acquired. So yeah, so some of the other tools that are used is like it's anti-static backs. So for example, uh, a smartphone or a cell phone or any other hard disk, any IoT device that is used for the crime, so which can be stored inside the anti-static bags and the anti-static pads. So both are pretty much similar, like it's just varies according to the size. So this is mainly used for when you acquire a phone from the crime scene, and in order to avoid the radiation or any remote access to the particular device. For example, there is a chance of there is a chance that a criminal can access the device remotely and can delete the data, so that the data can be deleted. So there are multiple chances. So in order to prevent them, so like if we, for example, if we store the evidence inside the bag, and the anti-static bags or pads, like it will prevent the cell phone signals and the radiation and all those stuffs, and it will completely isolate from the outer world. And later these evidences can be brought into the laboratory for the further analysis. So also the well padded containers. So in the sense, like in order to store the acquired evidence from the crime scene, and also to investigate them later, in order to prevent them from unauthorized access of the evidences other than the forensic investigator. So and the next thing is multiple things that can be used for analyzing the evidences. And so like it could be CD drives or pen drives, USB stick or floppy disk. Floppy disk is a bit old, but still it's under consideration all over the world. And a power supply electrical cord, which can be used for, you know, for a mobile, so for the mobility of the workstations, forensic workstations, and all those things. And also uh, and also initials on the tape to prove that the evidence has not tampered with any kind of uh, tampered with the, you know, like to destroy the evidence or something like it, to affect the evidence. And also consider the computer specific temperature and humidity ranges, because it is related to the hardware, because there's a chance of you know, the computer can be crashed, or the due to the maximum, like increased temperature, and also, you know, it should be stored under a normal temperature in a controlled environment basically. So so these are the things that can be used. And also a dedicated forensic workstation, obviously, like in order to you know, analyze the evidences. So we need a dedicated forensic workstation to analyze the evidence, and equipped with all the necessary softwares that is installed for that and required for the analysis. And various operating systems can be used, Windows and Linux, and also there are certain Linux distros uh, that is designed especially for the purpose of analyzing the evidence. So so these are the things that can be used for uh, analyzing the evidence. So these are some of the tools that you can have a look. And yeah, so basically the thing that you're seeing now is the secure containers. So I'm just having giving you a image to, so in these containers the evidence will be stored and secured with the lock. uh, yeah. So yeah, so the next thing that we are going to see is about the write blockers. So for example, uh, most of the digital evidences that we acquire will be, there will be a storage. For example, it may be a laptop or a mobile or or a tablet. So each and every machine that we acquire from the crime scene will be having storage. So and also like uh, the first of all, like in order to prevent the evidence from being modified or being altered. So these write blockers are very useful, and it's so for example, like if the system is turned off, there is a high chance of the evidence being altered and modified. So these write blockers, once we connect the write blockers to the device, any device, or to the hard disk, or any computer or PC or tablet, so these will prevent the evidence being altered or modified. So yeah, basically the steps are like uh, the it can be connected to a forensic image environment, and plug the disk into an imager or an examination workstation. And second is like is the best way to ensure that the drive is not modified during image collection. So these kind of write blockers are very expensive generally, and yeah, so and most of the write blockers will be like there are different types of write blockers, uh, according to the functionality, based on the hardware specs. So and the industry leaders are Tableau and Weep Tech. So they are the two leading manufacturers for the write blockers in general. And you can have a look to the YouTube video as well, like if you have time. Like I'll just send this link in the chat. You can have a look on this later. Yeah. So the last thing we saw is the hardware write blocker, which is a piece of hardware that is used to uh, prevent the evidence being affected. So this write blockers can be used in a software version as well. Like it comes in a software version, so it's like software write blockers uh, can either be installed to an individual operating system. So in any operating system that is which is like widely used. For example, it can be either installed on Windows and Linux as well. So I'm just giving you the link of the Linux version of the software write blockers. So the main advantages is it's very easy to use rather than the hardware write blockers, like because obviously you need to connect and assemble most of the things in the hardware write blockers. But in this case, it's very used, and it's not like there won't be a hardware failure in case it's since it's a software version. So and also it's very user friendly and efficient for use to enable the write blocking in the particular machine that we are
Sakti,
trying to
sorry
modify.
to interrupt. There is a tapping sound. It comes, keep on coming.
Oh, is it? Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the next thing is we need to go a bit deeper. Yeah, so the next thing we are going to see is the forensic duplication, which involves the software forensics tools. So till now, I think we have covered most of the hardwares that are being used for an forensic investigation. And yeah, so the next thing is forensic image formats. Yeah, so there are many forensic image formats that is used while imaging a particular uh, a machine or a laptop or a computer in order to carry out the investigation. So for example, imaging is used to create uh, a complete copy of the particular system that is going to be investigated. So there are different kind of image formats that is used for investigation, like depends on the software. Yeah, so it's why the image complete disk images is used, because like it will take the complete copy bit by bit. So uh, it doesn't alter any of the data which is present in the workstation. So for that a particular reason, so we use the method of imaging in order to acquire the evidence. Yeah, so every addressable allocation bit in the storage is mapped. For example, even bit by bit imaging includes the host protected areas where the user don't have the access, and also the tried config overlays. Uh, so these are the things. And the disk image. So if a suspect attempts to hide the data by deleting files or partitions, or reinstalling the OS or reformatting in order to prevent the evidence to be acquired by the forensic investigators, like, so these are the activities that the suspect can do in order to save him from recovering the the actual evidence. So yeah, so that's where the complete drive image is used. So then a complete drive image gives the best chance of recovering the missing data. So most commonly used image format is DD. This can be used in the command line version on most of the widely used operating systems. So there are two general approaches to create raw images using DD. One is the raw image. You're just acquiring the complete image of the system uh, for DD. So that basically the command is if the actual device and the image file of the device. And yeah, and also the other thing that we use is raw with the hashes. So hashes is an algorithm, like a kind of algorithm, like that is used in order to securely uh, acquire the image from the device. Because like if we generate the hash for the particular image, in order to make sure the image that is acquired is not being modified. So a hash is generated during the acquisition of the image, and then while we investigating the image, so that we can check the hash again, and then we can match with the hash that is generated while acquiring the image, so that we can proceed with the investigation much more quickly. So yeah, so this is just a screenshot of how the image is acquired using the Linux. So it's just a command so that you can use for acquiring the image using DD. DD is nothing but a format. And yes, and the next thing that we are going to see is about FTK Imager. This is a tool that we that is used to image a particular system or a hard disk or a pen drive or whatever storage medium that we have. So it's the simplest solution to image capture is using FTK Imager. This is one of the widely used tools in the industry to capture both the RAM and the disk. And also it can provide some initial analysis for images. So for analysis part, like we are going to use different tools, which is mainly Autopsy and Sleuthkit. Both are pretty much similar kind of tools. The Autopsy is the graphical version and the Sleuthkit is the command line version. Yeah, so the next thing is the logical way of getting the files. So this is the least desirable option because there is a chance of uh, getting the evidence being modified, but avoid if possible, like as the limitation limits the analysis. Reasons for logical copies is like legal. Only certain files are allowed or required to use this kind of logical acquisition. And also the different kind of storage systems like network attached storage and storage area network, single user of interest, and often object reuses or overwrites or deletes the free space, so a full copy is a waste of time. And also the critical system, like if there's something the system that you're handling is very critical, like whether it's not allowing to take a system offline or perform a live image. So in that case, you can use this logical way of copying the image. Yeah, as I said, image integrity is still critical in logical images because and hashes must be obtained and stored. So, whereas in the imaging, we don't require to hash them, like if it's needed. But in this case, there is a high chance of losing the integrity of the evidence. So hashes must be obtained and stored. So that's the thing. So as I said, hashes ensure the data is not changed after the time when the hash was computed. So also ensures the copies are very accurate. So you don't risk yourself in damaging the evidence or modifying the evidence. So not possible with the SSDs, the latest things, latest kind of hard disk that we are using. Because there's a background process that changes things all of the time. So it's not possible with the SSDs. And drives with bad sectors give a different hash each time they are imaged. For example, if the hard drive is pretty old and if something like that. So we can document manually the data that we are trying to acquire if the thing happens. And yes, so there are a different image file format, and they fall into four categories. So which is a raw image, it's just a bit mapping of the target. And the next thing is proprietary with embedded data. In this format, the hashes are embedded within the image, and every 10 MB there's a we use SHA-256 hashing algorithm. And the third one is proprietary with metadata in a separate file. Hashes are stored in a separate file. For example, the image will be the output, plus an additional hash file will be downloaded at the during the output. So, and the last one is raw with the hashes stored in a separate file. The raw image plus the hash file, which is stored as a separate file. Yeah, and two common imaging format is AFF, the Advanced Forensic Framework. So this format is used by two kind of tools that are being used for analyzing the image. It's Access Data FTK. So what we have seen before is FTK Imager, which is used to image the computer or any storage device. But this one is only for analyzing the image. So FTK Imager is different, FTK is different. So both are different tools, but obviously it was developed by the same company. And ASR Data Smart, another tool. And the next format is Expert Witness Format, EWF. It is only used by the NCase, because NCase is something, a proprietary software, and so they use a different format when they acquire an image and also while analyzing the image. So the format based on the NCase will be different, as they are a proprietary one, but they also use DD format of imaging. And yes, so both of the format store MD5 or SHA-1 hashes automatically, because MD5 or SHA-1 are the most common hashes that are used while hashing uh, in any particular file or image. So both are compressed formats and split into several files that has such as .eo1, eo2, eo3, something like that. Like, for example, there are multiple images, so it will be stored as .eo1, eo2, .eo3. Yeah. So choosing an image format, all forensic image formats contain the same disk data. Each can be converted to others. For example, from one image format, we can convert to another image format. So it's easily converted, but it's a bit lengthy process. And the commercial Windows tools usually expect EWF files. Yeah, and then open source usually require .dd files. As I said, it's a universal format for imaging. And for RAID and other multi-disk arrays, .dd files are the best for advanced processing. So we have different kind of storage types, for example, RAID level storage and other storage types. So so basically, as .dd is a universal format, it's also the best thing for the advanced processing. And collecting from a live system using the software forensics. And yeah, so in the earlier version of Windows, you could copy a device from its physical memory. And dd.exe, you can use this command in the command prompt, dd.exe, if the source destination and the physical memory of the if something like you need to store that in the remote system, remote share / memory.img, the name of the image file. And for security reason, the handle was removed, as I tried in my own computer. So now we need to ask a driver to dump memory into a raw file. So the acquiring tool will need to do this for to this asking, like for example, we can dump all the RAM, the data that is present in the RAM into a raw file. So also I'll be sharing the details of the another tool that is used for dumping the data from the RAM. However, some malware variants use loaded driver to access the raw memory. For example, other than the tools that we are using, some malware variants may access your raw memory. So so it is a best thing to use antivirus, so that these tools that may alert you when you are acquiring a memory. So it's very obvious, and as the acquisitions looks like a malware activity. So in 64-bit Windows, all the loaded drivers are digitally signed. So for example, each and every driver that is installed in the computer will have a digital signature on it in order to verify them, uh, which is, which is not a legitimate software or something like that. So, but some older tools may not have the digital signature. Yeah. Yes, so the tools for the memory acquisition. So some of the tools that is used is FTK imager, as I shared with you before, and the FTK for analyzing, and for magnet and
Sakti, Sakti, I think you are crazed. I think there's some technical issue. I can wait for a few seconds. We'll be back.
yeah, sorry, there is internet connectivity issue. Yeah, so as I said, the list of tools uh, that is being used. And also you can uh, go for this tool list as well. I'll share with you guys. So you can visit this link and have a look. So the next thing we are going to see is we have already uh, seen about this, and I'll also share you this link and on how to use the FTK imager on how to image a particular device or a storage device. This is basically a GUI based, so it's very easy to use and works well with volatility. So yes, the next thing is the magnetic RAM capturer. Yeah, so this tool is works with only on Windows. So various version of Windows that you can use with, and also it's a GUI interface, so which is very easy to use, and it basically create a raw memory dump with .dmp extension. So I'll share with you. Yes, so the forensic workstation differ from a system in general. Okay, so nothing much like not a big difference, I would say, but it is deployed under a secure environment, and also it has a necessary tools that is installed for what to say, like a forensic investigation that is required for carrying out an investigation, and also it is deployed deployed in a secure environment basically, so nobody can intrude through the systems and delete them and like nobody from outside can enter into the network and modify the evidence and all those things. So basically that's the thing, and also it has some limitations. For example, as you know, the Active Directory, if it's a Windows based system, there will be Active Directory rules that you can carry out activities only if it's necessary to carry out the forensic investigations, and other than that you don't have certain permissions to do other activities other than the investigation. So it basically only on and only used only for the purpose of forensic investigation. So that's the main thing about the forensic workstation, and also it has all the necessary hardware and software requirements along with that. So that's the basic thing, mainly for secure to work under a secure environment, and also to keep everything protected from the outsiders, and also that supports every kind of features and resources that is required to carry out an forensic investigation. So that's the main thing, to use a forensic workstation instead of a general PC or a laptop. Yes, so the next thing is, yeah, so back to the magnet forensics. So it basically creates a raw memory dump with .dmp extension. So which is used for analyzing the dumps. For example, if you create a dump from the raw memory in the RAM, so it is you can explore the processes that were running during committing a crime. For example, he might have deleted some files, and also it is there will be a process, certain processes that will be running in the background while the suspect is carrying out some activities. So, and also he might be trying to communicate with the other person. You can also log the network related processes, and also the communication that happened in the background while trying to contact another system or another IP or whatever. So all those things that are captured during while creating a raw memory dump. And have other we also have other useful free tools. So I'll share the link for you this as well. Yeah, so the next thing is the Belkasoft live RAM capturer. So this is also a Windows-based software, which is also creates a memory dump, but with the .mem extension. Obviously, these are proprietary tools. You might have a trial version for this, but it works with a different format with a different extension. So it's supposedly slightly better than FTK Imager for RAM captures because of the speed. Uh, it works actually. It it has a fast processing.
Sakti, there is some network issue in your side, I suppose. Please check and.
Sorry again.
Yes, 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 no issues.
Yeah, so the next thing is these are the other tools, similar like the live capturer. You can have a look on it as well. This is Moonsault's Dumpit, similar way of working like the Belkasoft live RAM capturer and magnetic RAM capture. And yes, this is also the similar tool. I'll share you the name of the tools. You can have a look. You can have a look at it later. So yeah, so there is a a similar tool as well, which is Kome, and you can download the Kome toolkit or navigate to the resources. Like I don't have the resources at the moment, but you can have a look at this tool, which is also similar, like dumping the RAM memory. I'll share the link as well. And this is FireEye Memoryze. This is also a memory dumping tool, another one, which is a proprietary tool, but I think it should have a trial version for this. Yeah, this is another tool which is used for an advanced forensic and incidents response thing, like which is used for carrying out various activities, like for analyzing the image. Uh, Primarily, it is used using a command line tool, which for which you need to execute multiple commands, and also it has various plugins related, which supports some of the commands like netcat, ssh, and 7-zip, which is used for zipping and unzipping the files, unzipping the zip files. And you can also use it to transfer memory image directly to a remote machine. For example, two guys are working on the same case, and you can also transfer the memory image directly to a remote machine using the command, uh, by defining the IP and also the port. And the main thing is you need to run this tool as an administrator in order to get all the necessary permissions to carry out the activity. Yes. And the next thing is, yeah, so these are the commands that is used in the tool to acquire the memory. You can make a note of it. Yeah, and yeah, so this is basically normally -t is like used to truncate the output file. Normally the volumes and images are appended to existing files, but this flag forces the output to be truncated first, and also by default the imager also captures the kernel and driver binaries, which is related to the thing used in RAM capturing. So these are some of the commands. I don't want to go deep into that because I need to discuss more about the other stuffs. So these are the AFF volume. Currently, the AFF4, which these kind of volumes are mostly used in the memory acquisition tools. So currently, the AFF4 library supports the three types of compression. For example, Snappy compression is based on a Google sample Snappy compressor, in order to compress the files, because if for example if the file size is very big, so you can use this compression ratio, in order to improve the acquisition speed while acquiring a memory dump. So and also zlib compression is the default compression, and there is also another option called as non-compression in uncompressed data. So this AFF4 image is still written, but no compression is applied. So none of the compression will be applied, and it will it will acquire the memory dump, which the exact size. For example, if it's 1 GB of memory dump, it won't compress it, and it will acquire exactly the same size. And yes, so the next thing is, yeah. So these, I don't want to go much deep into that. I'll share you an article on Windows memory acquisition, so which is mainly used in the industry when a cyber attack happens. For example, most of the you cannot go into every system and get a memory dump. For example, like you can go directly into the server OS, which is used in most of the companies, and you can directly take a dump from them. So I'll share you this article as well. You can have a look. Yeah, so these are the some of the password cracking tools which is used for cracking the password. So there are different types of password cracking tools which is used in different scenarios. For example, one of the most popular and most efficient tools that I would say is, personally I believe, it's Hashcat, because you can use the entire system computer's resources. For example, you have a high performance computer, you can integrate with them to tune the performance and monitor the temperature. For example, password, while cracking the password, it will utilize your complete resources of the computer, and it will make the computer very slow. So it will mostly use all of the computer resources. So that's why the Hashcat is very famous for this. This improves the performance and also results in speeding up the process, and the output will be very much quicker if it uses complete resources of the computer. You need to have a high-end spec computer or a laptop in order to use this tool efficiently. So this is one of the best tools I have personally used. And the next thing is Crack, which is used for cracking the password of Windows. So you might try different kind of combinations like alphanumeric characters and all those stuff, and you can create a default dump file in order to try with the different combinations of password and to crack the password of many systems. And also there is a Wi-Fi password cracking tool, which is AirCrack NG, which is available in Kali Linux distribution, I guess. It's a default tool that is available for cracking the Wi-Fi passwords. It can crack WEP encryption, which is a bit old. The latest one that we are using is WPA2. We can crack the password if it's not very complex. Like it's not about like you can crack every passwords. If the password is too complicated, for example, it has alphanumeric characters and special characters and all those things, combined, it is very, very hard to crack. But if it's a simple password and a very commonly used password, for example, hello world, like something like that, it's a bit easy to crack. And also the combinations is very important, since the password, if we have lowercase and uppercase and all those things, so it's very tough to crack. That's why always most of the uh, the accounts that you're using in day-to-day life will ask you to enter uppercase, lowercase combinations and special characters and all those stuff. So, and the next thing is John the Ripper. It is a well-known free open source password cracking tool, which is also available in most of the Linux distributions. Example, Kali and Parados. And the next thing is THC Hydra, which is used, it works based on the brute force password casing attack. Yeah, so like you can, like I said, you can try different combinations. You can build a rainbow table. Rainbow table is like, you can guess some passwords and you can prepare a list of passwords that you can guess, and you can try different with the different combinations, and you can launch an attack. So that's something brute forcing uh, thing. So, and the next thing is Brutus, a remote online password cracking tool. You can simply access a computer. If you have the remote access to a PC or a computer, you can launch this attack using this tool by specifying the IP and if the computer is, if the remote computer is online. So yes, also I'd like to share you the other things other than this. So just a moment. So yes, so what if you're going to conduct an investigation in the network? Uh, so this is used. So some of the network tools like that can be forensic tools that can be used in the network infrastructure. So these are the devices that are part of infrastructure, that routers and switches and hubs and access points. So some of the tools that are used in this network infrastructure is the sniffer and packet capture and intrusion detection systems and others. So mainly the stakeholders will be a user of a personal system or a corporation or an organization or a company, or local investigators or federal investigators or international investigators. So so the motivation for using these kind of tools is to maintain system security and also to ensure operational continuity and investigate system misuse and identify and manage compromise of any systems. So various investigative authorities investigate computer related criminal activity and investigate other criminal activity that is within the network. So yeah, so identifying, so the approach is basically to identify communicating parties and to locate the source and the destination IP, if we use some packet capturing tools, and also to help provide individual attribution and determine the nature of the suspected communications, and also to provide the evidence for the crime, and also to identify social networks. So I'll straight away go into the tools for packet analysis. So basically, the packet sniffers that they are used to analyze the packets that is coming in and out, going out in the network. So this is mainly used to examine the contents or the metadata of one or more packets. And packets analysis is typically conducted in order to identify packets of interest and develop a strategy for flow analysis and content reconstruction. And to identify the packets of interest, investigators using filtering techniques. For example, not every packets are used used for analysis. So you need to filter some packets based on their protocols, which is useful for your investigation, and you can analyze according to that. So some of the tools, popular tools that we use is the Wireshark, and this is also known as T-Shark, which is a command line version of Wireshark. So the Wireshark tool basically includes a display filter, so where you can isolate the packets based on the protocol, because during a packet capture there will be hundreds and thousands of lakhs of packets, but you need just a similar thing to you need some specific packets, some specific packets based on the protocols that's used for the investigation. So basically this is the screenshot, so I can, like, where in this you can apply the display filters. And for example, you need to gather a particular IP, you can filter according to that IP dot address equal to those particular IP, and you will get the highlighted thing. And also this is the heck the details about the packet, where it came from, and the protocol that is used, the source and destination IP, and all these things. So there are various types of filters that you can use. So these are based on protocols, and also uh, the uh, the fields, like you can, as you can see, various protocols are listed in that. So these are the main things that's used for filtering. And you also, you can use multiple combinations of protocols. For example, you can take 4 or 5 protocols, and you can relate with some expressions, and you can search along according to that, according to the requirement. Yeah, so an ngrep is basically it's another network packet capturing tool to identify packets of interest based on the presence of particular strings, binary sequences, or patterns within the packet. Similar to the thing that I have showed you here. So here you can use particular expressions and strings to use. And yes, an ngrep doesn't include flow reconstruction. Ngrep will indicate a matching packet rather than matching flow. For example, this is a, in Wireshark, like we can see the flow of the packets literally from 1 to n, like n number of packets. But in ngrep, like, it's used to just filter the particular packets, and not the flow. That's the only thing. It can capture the particular packet based on the protocols, and you can use strings and binary sequences or patterns within the packet. So that's the thing. So hex editor, for example, you will have a hexadecimal value for every packets that is generated here. So it will be shown under the below the Wireshark tool. And so this is in order to edit the hexadecimal values. Like, you can use many hex editors, and then you can convert them into into a alphabetic characters in order to reveal some message. Maybe it might be in the form of hexadecimal values. So these hex editors are really useful to export the files and edit them, and you can uh, to modify the bits of the data in the packet captures. So yes, so that's the thing I need to share with you regarding the network forensics. And the next thing is the volatility. I'll share with you. So as I said, there are multiple raw memory dumps that you can extract using RAM capturers. So this is after capturing the memory dump, you need to analyze some of the memory dumps using a tool. So this is this volatility tool. This is basically used to analyze the memory dumps that you have extracted from the system, a particular system. So there are it works on both Windows and Linux, and it's an open source tool created by the Volatility project, and plugins are being developed as well. It works with every kind of memory, like Windows, Linux, and Mac recently. So yes, so this tool is runs a specified plugin against a memory image that extracted using a memory dump software, and each plugin analyzes and extracts specific data from it, process or file information, and also data at specific memory addresses and network connections. You can have a look. I'll share you the link for this as well. There's a GitHub page already developed. You can have a look at it. I'll share it with you guys. Yes. So what can it do? So this basically the RAM has the memory dump has like almost every task and activities and process that was running while capturing the uh, dump from the random access memory. So it contains the image information and running processes and process SIDs and environment variables and open network sockets and open network connections and DLLs and OS kernel modules and much more things. So these are the different things that is captured in the memory dump. So you can analyze each of them individually using different kind of plugins basically. So there are different kind of plugins that is used for for running process and for network connections, and so that there are different categories of analyzing the memory dump. For example, there is a category you can analyze only the network related connections that is opened uh, during performing in any criminal activity, and also running process and dump any process, uh, and also some image information and process IDs especially. So yeah, so it can extract executable samples, scanning examples like process and threads and sockets and connections and modules related to the processes that was running, and uh, yes, so and imported and exported API functions and key version information and system call tables, which is related. These all information are related to the registry and the file system, and explore, catch the registry hives, and much more about it. So this is basically a command line version tool. So you need to have a command line. It's very it's best to use this thing with Linux, because I prefer Linux to run this tool. So so these are the basic commands that is used to run the tool. As I said, various plugins is used in order to perform various analysis. So you can specify with these commands. So a screenshot is attached to it. So these are the plugins, list of plugins that is used, while analysis. For example, uh, yeah, DLL dump. You can dump the DLL files from a process address space, and also the connections. For example, what are the connections that is established by the computer during the suspicious activity? So it will list the open connections, and also the clipboard. For example, if the suspect have copied some content during the during some suspicious activity, uh, so that is stored, that the contents can be stored in the clip, it would have been stored in the clipboard. So you can also extract the contents of the clipboard, and so like this, similarly, like there are various kind of plugins that is used, and also you can scan the drivers, list of drivers that is installed, and also file scan to scan the objects, the file objects, and much more. So there are many plugins that is used for various purposes. So yeah, so and the yeah, so image formats that it can analyze. So volatility is one of the famous tools, most common tools that is used for analyzing the memory dump. So it will support most of the file image formats that is used during the dumping of the memory. So these are the formats, most common formats that it supports. It can also support, for example, if what if a criminal uses a VM instead of inside a computer to carry out the suspicious activity? So you can also get a so uh, you need to dump, create a memory dump of those virtual box as well. Virtual box code dumps will be saved in the VMware files. So you need a snapshot, and you need to extract all those code dumps. So these are the things these are the formats that it supports existingly. So yeah, so yeah, first, and also you can also get the profile of the operating system that is used that is used in the computer. For example, if the suspect's computer is Windows 10 or Windows 11, you can extract you can easily extract the version of the Windows that is used. So you can get the profile of the Windows. So these are the existing profiles that you can get. I think it supports still Windows 10, if I'm not wrong. Not with the Windows 11, with the latest version, I don't think so. But it supports still the Windows 10 64-bit profile. So yes, I think I don't want to go much deep into every plugins because I think it's already time. So these are the explanation of each and every plugin. What will these plugins do? And you can try having a look in the link I have provided. So you have all those thing that a particular plugin will do while performing the analysis. So each plugin has its own purpose. So I have explained you some of the plugins that is used for the analysis. So these are the plugins that's used related to the API and the storage. And process memory is like, I would say, which is related to the processes that was running during the suspicious activity. So everything is different, like different category based on process, network, and storage, and memory, and all those stuff. Yes, I guess that's it from my side. I hope you have enjoyed this session.
So thank you, Sakthi. Participants, we have any doubts, anything need to be asked? Can you unmute your mic and ask, or otherwise you can put it in the chat box. So I think there's no query. Thank you, Sakthi. So I think you have covered almost most of the forensic tools and all the software and hardware tools, which because normally I can remember when I teach this particular subject, there are various tools I used to provide these tools to the students as an assignment or the presentation kind of thing. So that the students can know, and when they present, the other students also can know about the various tools.
Yeah.
So just I can remember all the tools, what are the tools you have briefed today. So thank you very much for your time. We will meet you once again for some other occasion.
Thank you, sir. Like I can explain like a lot more, but the time is very short actually, so it's fine. Yeah.
So thank you, participants. We will meet again by 3:15. So the topic is cybersecurity by Dr. Murugan IPS, is Inspector General of Police. So I request everyone to join by 3:10, and so that's it for the session. So thank you all.
Thank you.